That way you're not left behind, because the number one mistake students are making is they're kind of like doing something else or not paying attention, and then they are steps behind, and then it takes a while to catch them up and all that stuff, okay? So I want everyone to do this with me. So we're on, Kirk, do you find it? We're on 1.4, practice set 1. Evan, you going to open to this? Come on, guys. So we're going to find the real zeros, which I called, which is part A in our calculator. And then part B, we're going to find all the extrema, which are your mins and maxes. And we're going to do it all on the graphing calculator. So first thing I want you guys to do is clear your RAM. I wrote the steps out here for you. Okay, so second plus 712, clear your RAM, because the class before you was playing with the calculators and it would mess you up, I'm sure, if you didn't. Okay, so clear your RAM. And then we're going to go up to y equals, and we're going to type this in. Guys, take a lot of time to do this. Go really slowly. Make sure your decimals are in the right place, all of that stuff, because if you don't type it in right, you're going to get different answers than I do, and you're going to be all confused. Exponent to the 4th power. Don't forget this, because I do it all the time, and I have to go back and erase, to hit your right arrow button to bring the cursor back down. Okay? So take a second, type that in, help your neighbor if they need it. When you type it in, hit graph, and I'm just going to put mine up here so you'll know you did it right if your graph looks like mine, and then I'll wait for you guys to catch up to me. So go back to your y equals. Guessing that I'm Okay, guys. Shh. Give you a second while I catch up. Chase, are you still typing? No. Okay, guys. The first thing is zeros. Zeros are x-intercepts. Tomorrow we're going to call them roots, another word for the same thing. They're solutions to an equation. They mean a lot of things. But as far as our graphing calculator goes, awesome, come on, it's where your graph touches the x-axis. And that's in 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have 3 zeros, okay? So here's how we find them using the calculator. Up here, above the word trace, is a word calc, which means calculate. It's in blue. So to access that menu, we're going to hit second, the blue button, and then calc. Okay? And you get this menu. What we are trying to find is 0. So you can either arrow down to it or just hit the number 2, and it'll be a quick button to access 0. So I'm going to hit 2. Now what you're going to see along the bottom is left bound with a question mark. Left bound with a question mark. That means left boundary. What we want to do is use our left and right arrows, are the only 2 we use, and let's find this first one on the far left, although it doesn't matter what order you find them in. Let's just all go to the one all the way to the left. So if you're looking at mine, you can see my cursor is kind of moving along. Here's one thing. Right now, I am to the left of that x-intercept. It looks like it's above it, because it is. It's above and to the left. Because remember, that part of your graph is going up towards infinity and to the left towards negative infinity. So even though it just looks like it's right above it, it is to the left of it. And it doesn't matter, guys, if you hit, like, if you hit, like you want to put that as your left bound or this as your left bound, anywhere to the left of that 0, put your cursor there and hit enter. Just hit enter, okay? And it like locked it in place. Notice what it says now. It says right bound. So we're going to arrow, right arrow, to the right of that X value. It's below it, but it is slightly to the right, okay? And wherever you feel comfortable that you are now to the right of your point, hit enter again. And what you'll notice is above, it's kind of hard to see, there's 2 arrows pointing towards each other. What it's asking us is, are you good? Do you want me to guess? I don't like that word because it's not a guess, it's very exact. Do you want me to guess what the 0 is in between these 2 points that you gave me? And we're going to say, yes, we want you to guess by hitting enter again. So when you hit enter again, you should get some crazy decimal, but y equals 0. That's an x-intercept. That's one of our zeros. So I'm going to make like the fancy parentheses. I think they're called braces. I don't know. And round to 3 places. We always round to 3 decimal places in this class, unless it's money, and of course it would be 2. I am a stickler for correct rounding. You must round correctly. Okay, there's one of my zeros. So these braces or fancy bracket thingies are a solution set. These are my solutions, okay? Let's go all the way to the far right one. There's a reason for that, okay? Let's go all the way to the far right one. So we start over again. Hit second, calc, 0 again, same exact process, just a different place on the graph. I'm going to use my right arrow. I'm going to go all the way to the far right one. And I'll tell you why we skipped the middle one in a second. So anywhere I hit enter is fine. Like it does not have to be the point right next to it, all right? It can be further away. As long as it is to the left of that point, see how it says left bound? I'm good. So I'm just going to pick that as my left bound. To pick it, I hit enter. And it places like a little arrow at the top. It's saying, okay, this is to the left. And notice it says right bound. So arrow, get to the right, anywhere to the right of it. It doesn't matter. Hit enter again, and you can see those arrows. Do we want you to guess? Yes, please. Hit enter again, and you should get another x-intercept of 3.541. Now we have one more x-intercept. It looks like it's at 0, 0. Let's see. So we go through the process again, and you will get good at it because it's like the same thing over and over again. Calc 0, arrow over. Okay, so I'm going to be to the left of it somewhere. That looks good. Left bound, enter. Right bound, enter. Enter again, and you're going to get an error message. These calculators are wonderful, but they have some limitations, and it happens around the 0 of a x-axis, so around 0, 0. For some reason, and Miss Springer, I went and talked to her about it yesterday. She's the calculus teacher. We both have no idea why it doesn't read it. It just does something wonky around 0. When you see this, you'll go, oh yeah, I remember. That means that my 0 is 0. But another way you could back it up is to go to your table of values. So remember, table, that's in blue, so I hit my second button. Oh, if you're stuck on quit, you can either hit 1 or enter. It quits. And it looks like everything's gone, but it's not. You can go right back to your graph. It's in there still. And I'm going to go to my table. And if you notice, there is a point at 0, 0. So we verified it using that. Okay? So those are our 3 x-intercepts. Now, go back to your graph. Let's talk about our extrema. We've got a min and a max and a min. A min and a max and a min. So I'm just going to get my answers set up. I have a local max. That's that 0, 0. We already know what it is, but we're going to practice finding it. We have a local min, 2 local mins, right? And one of those local mins, well, let me say, is one of the local mins an absolute? Yeah, this one, right? So I'm just going to call that one an absolute and a local. Remember, the words are interchangeable. If you used relative instead of local, that's perfectly fine. If you use global instead of absolute, that's fine. Those words are interchangeable. You'll see both, so know both, okay? So Let's do our two mins first, okay? Because we know something weird's going to happen at that 0, 0. All right. We go back to the same place that we just went for 0. So second, calc, and instead of hitting 0, we're going to hit minimum, right? Number 3 is a minimum. And the directions are exactly the same. We want to left bound, so arrow to the left of your minimum. Same thing, hit enter. Now go find your right bound, just anywhere to the right of that minimum. Hit enter. Guess, enter again, and that will give me negative 3.209 at x equals remember that really weird way we write these? Oops, I put that in the wrong place. That's a min, so sorry. So I'm just changing these. Maybe you put yours in the right place. I skipped max and went to the min, so sorry about that. That's a min. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do the absolute one. Okay, so it's another minimum. Just start over. Second, calc, min again. You have to hit it every time to start over. It's asking us for our left bound, so I'm just going to arrow right over to it. Anywhere to the left is fine. That's fine. I could go there, I could go there, I could go there. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm to the left of that point, hit enter. Go to the right, hit enter, and then you hit enter again. And it'll say the word minimum. It's telling you that is your minimum. And that happens down here. So that would be negative 8.207 at x equals 2.528. Notice the rounding. Don't just copy my answer. Make sure yours says the same thing. Wait, why does that say that? 820. 20. Negative, wait, something's wrong. Negative, I can't see. Negative 8.0. That should be an 8, right? And then, is that one right? 5, 2. That should be a 9. Sorry about that. So that's our absolute or local. Sorry, my rounding was off there. Okay. Now we have to find a max. Now, you and I already know what this is. It's 0 at x equals 0. Because that local max is also one of our zeros. Remember, you can have a turning point, a min or max, at the zeros. Okay? We already know that. But let's see what it looks like in the calculator. Because we already know weird stuff happens at 0. So I want to show you what it does with this. So that's a maximum. Second calc, maximum is number 4. Left bound, right bound, same deal. So to the left, enter. To the right, enter. Guess, enter. Now, remember on the last one, it gave us an error message when it was at 0, 0? It didn't do that this time. Why? I don't know. I have no idea why it does that. But what it did give you is, who said that? Yours gave you 0, 0? Oh, right. Oh, okay. Well, I got this. But what I want you guys to know what this means. Okay, so you probably have something with e's in it, right? Yeah. Okay. So when you see that, that's scientific notation. This is a small itty-bitty negative number times 10 to the negative 6. Another little number times 10 to the negative 12. This is your calculator telling you I'm getting as close to 0, 0 as I can. Their numbers super, 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 super close to 0. When you see something like that and you're not sure, you could always go to your table, okay? But we know, I mean, it looks like 0, 0. You can easily verify it by going to your table. So we know that that is a 0, 0. So weird things happen at 0. So we just have to know what happens, what to do when we encounter them, okay?
Some of these have like the
I don't know. Is anybody using the digital one? Anyone using the? Anyone? No. I'll find out for you. They are a little better with that stuff, but not hugely different. Okay. All right. Let's look at this one, and I'm going to get you started on this one. We're going to get it all set up, and then I'll come around and check on everybody. But let's go back to y equals. Now, listen. How do I know when to clear the RAM versus just clear? Well, if you're not sure, just clear the RAM. But if we didn't change the window at all, we didn't change any of the settings, you could just go to y equals and hit clear. But if you're not sure, it's never wrong to clear the RAM, okay? So you decide. Guys, take a second, take your time, type this in. Go really slowly so you know you did it right. Your graph should look like that. We're going to mess with the window in a minute, but I haven't yet. So just by typing it in, you should see this. Okay. Did you not clear your RAM? Okay, then you didn't type it right. You must have made a mistake in your y equals. Now listen. Guys, listen. How many zeros are we going to have in this one? 3, okay? You forgot the plus 4. Okay, so you're going to have 3 zeros, but don't do that yet. Part B, I can't see. Do you guys see? I don't know where my graph is turning. To be able to get to the left and the right of it, we have to see it. So Zoom is one thing we can use, but we're not going to. Sometimes I think Zoom is very confusing. There's a time and place to use Zoom, and we'll talk about it on that day. But window is just a nice, easy thing to do. Remember, this is called your window. So if you want to change what you're looking at, remember, X min and max is to the left for min, right for max. We don't need to change X min. We can see everything fine left to right. It's our up and down, which is your Y min and Y max. So the question I always get is, well, how do I know what to change it to? And the answer is, I don't know. You play with it. You can pick something. I used 20 and negative 20, and that worked. What you're looking for is, can I see the turnarounds? Can I see my min and max? I used 20 and it worked. If I used negative 20 and 20 and went to my graph and couldn't see it, then I'd go make it bigger. Maybe you started with 100 and negative 100. There's not a wrong answer. As long as you can see the turnaround, that means you can get to the left and the right of it. Okay? So there's not a wrong way to do that as long as you can see it. So now we just go back and do our, so you can see now you're going to have a local min and one local max, right? And no absolutes on this graph because the arrow is going in those opposite directions. All right, so I'm going to put the key up for these, and I'm going to come around and check on you. So if you're getting stuck, your calculator doesn't look the same, you didn't understand a step, grab me figuratively, and I will help you. Anyone right away need something? If you understood that and you're good, you are welcome to go on and work on whatever else is available for help with anything. So, let me watch you.
Oh no, so we're supposed to like.
You need to think about like above him.
Oh.
So left, that's a left.
Oh.
And then, so hit them now right down, so lower the top. So remember, look, so here's my, like, hold my elbow the x-axis. It's going like this. So left is going to be above, but it's also. So this point right here would be a left. Because even though it looks like it's a left, it is. But it's also, this like the ground is going down. Not very exaggerated like this. More like this. It is at this point still too. Yeah.
can't listen to anything that I was comparing you to You were literally known as Mr. Right, like you right, pick you up. I'm losing weight. Shut up. Yes, I am. I'm not losing weight right now. 70? What do you think you are? You're literally round. You're built like Coach Joe. You're built like Coach Joe. Except he's taller than you.
I'm going to Coach Joe.
You're balling. That's you.
Okay, guys, homework check.
Lord, oh Lord, it's not good. Okay.